First time back in a year.
I think that over time, we found that you and me don't agree on a lot of stuff.
I really don't think we should expose children to that stuff too early.
It used to bother me when my girls were in school and the teachers would take these political stances.
Ultimately, I feel like this just comes down to parenting. You and I, we won before we even hit record. Ever wonder how one conversation can change your perspective? You're listening to On the Mic with Joe C. Real conversations with real people. And every episode leaves you with something new. Ah, man. Carlos, this is the first time back in a year.
In a year, has it been?
In a year, bro. I mean, well, you and I, we've done the test recordings, right?
Okay. I count the test recording as a recording.
You probably count the test recordings as
I do.
Like something we've done, right? But I have not recorded a episode since I think November of 2024.
No way.
Yes. That episode was released January of 2025. And then I didn't record, I didn't release, I didn't do anything like that, man. So this is, I guess you could say, the resurgence, right?
Yeah.
Like this
and
is.
if you'd asked me, I would have thought that original interview I did was just in like the last 8 months. I guess that was over a year ago.
No, yeah, that was well over a year ago that you and I got into the studio and actually recorded an episode that we published.
Interesting.
Yeah, but welcome everybody to the On the Mic with Joe C. I think Carlos needs no introduction if you've watched, if you've been following On the Mic with Joe C, which I doubt a lot of you kind of have, because I have, again, like we just said, not released an episode in quite a long time.
My kids are subscribers.
Your kids are subscribed. There you go. See, at least we got 4 subscribers there, right?
That's it.
We got 4 subscribers there. But welcome back to On the Mic with Joe C. This is actually a very exciting moment for me, not only because I'm bringing the show back, I guess you can say, but Carlos and I, it's actually been years, right? Yep. Like it hasn't been recent that this development came through, but Carlos and I have been talking about for years of having a podcast together, right? And I jumped on the podcast, and I would like to ask Carlos to share a little bit about this, right? But I kind of feel, and correct me if I'm wrong here, right, that for a while, in this last year, which everything happens for a reason, but I feel like in this last year, you've had some experiences that have kind of culminated to this moment, because prior to this past year, I feel like you weren't ready.
No.
Right? Like I feel I
still might not be ready.
But you absolutely, I know. But dude, you've shared some experiences with me this year with NAREP, public speaking. And I know public speaking never gets easy, right? Yeah. Like it doesn't matter what anybody says. It never gets easy. You just learn to be with how difficult it is to get up there, right? Like you're still nervous. Your palms are still sweaty. You're still thinking of like, fuck, what am I going to say? How am I going to do it? Is this going to turn out the way I want it to? Yeah. And even with all that fear and anxiety, you just go on stage anyway. You just get in front of the camera anyway. Like it doesn't ever get any easier. It might just get easier to jump in. But prior to jumping in, you still kind of go through that process of like, fuck, how is this going to go? Yeah. Right? So I think you've gotten a lot of practice with that over the last year. And
I think it was it all really stemmed from a conversation you and I had, right? Because there's a ton of conversations that we've had at the barbershop. And, this is a thing that I would avoid, right? Public speaking, putting myself out there. But I value conversation. I like talking to people. I like hearing different perspectives. I think we need to hear everybody's perspective on any topic, right? And so, but if you would have asked me to do this a year ago or more than a year ago, right, I would have been like, no. Even the first one we did, the one that we were just referencing, I think I rescheduled that a couple of times.
You did.
And I tried to avoid it.
You absolutely did, right? You absolutely did. But I'm glad we're here now, right? Because one of the things that I want to let anybody who is watching know, right? Anybody who knows me, right? Because those are probably going to be the only people watching it. Anybody who knows Carlos, right? Those are probably going to be the only people watching it. One thing I do want to introduce is that On the Mic with Joe C is now going to have a co-host, which is going to be Carlos, right? Yeah. I'm still going to do individual episodes, right, where it's just me and another guest, right? But I would say every other episode probably is going to be with you in it. Hopefully in the future we can get a third in here, not as a co-host, right? But like where rather than me being one-on-one with somebody else, it'll be you and I co-hosting with each other and having a guest, right? Where we kind of get to have a full-on conversation with that guest as well. But dude, like I'm super pumped up because it's been years that you and I have been talking about doing a podcast together, right? And I feel like it's just fitting, right? The experiences you've had in the last year. For anybody who's seen the podcast before, you can obviously notice a big difference in the studio, right?
Yeah.
I completely revamped the studio, got some new cameras, got new lighting, got a new background, right? These nice, cool little plants that we got here in the back, right? So a lot of work has kind of gone into the studio in 2025, and I'm super excited to kind of get 2026 off on the right foot, because it's one of those things, like that saying goes, it's not that you're afraid of failure, like you're afraid of success, right? I'm not going to sit here and say that this podcast is going to be a success, right?
Yeah.
But I really think it is one of those things. For me, I love podcasting. I love being in front of a camera. I still get nervous, right? Like, it's still one of those things where my palms get sweaty. I get the butterflies, like, fuck, how is this going to go? But at the end of the day, I really enjoy it. And I enjoy having conversations with people on camera, recording them, being able to watch them in the car, go over them later, having people come into the barbershop, like clients. This has been a super fucking cool thing where clients will come in and be like, hey, I seen that one episode. And dude, like, I totally see it that way.
Yeah.
And I've also had people come in and be like, hey, I seen that one episode, and like, I don't know if I necessarily agree with like what you said, right? And I'm just like, okay, like, what is it you don't agree about? And
I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So which episode?
At this moment,
Yeah.
I don't remember. It was one episode that I did with my boy Gabriel Quiñones, right? And he's gay, right? And one of my like clients came in and said like he didn't agree because Gabriel was he was the mayor of La Puente.
Okay.
2 times, right? And so he was saying how the high school, the La Puente High School, introduced a program for LGBTQ.
Okay.
Right? Like kind of to be like an all-inclusive program. And in my head, like I was like, oh, that's fucking awesome, right? Like I'm not going to tell you I'd sit here and go advocate for something like that. Yeah. But that's not because I'm against it. That's just because it's just not something that I'm committed to, right?
I get that.
But when I hear somebody else say that that's their commitment and that they follow through with their commitment and they made this breakthrough in an area that is very controversial, for me, there was like, damn, like fucking major props, right? Like good shit. Yeah. And the client kind of came in, right, and was like, I don't know if I really agree with that conversation, right? I seen that you were for it, you were cool, right? But I don't know if I'd be able to be so cool about that. I think I'd kind of have something against my kid going to a school where the school supported a program like that, right? And so again, that's one of the conversations, right?
Yeah,
but there's been a few.
And I'm curious, like, what the background on that is. Not calling anybody out. Like, is the fear that by having a more inclusive program or having something like that it's going to steer people a certain way? Is that the fear?
Possibly.
Did he tell you at all?
I just think I don't remember. Again, this was I recorded this episode with Gabriel almost 2 years ago, right? Yeah. And so I can't sit here and tell you like I remember verbatim. I just remember that experience, and I remember more or less what the conversation was about. If I remember correctly, which by the way, our memories are shot. Yeah. Right. I just heard on a Mad Men yesterday, somebody he said that there's some guy that said a quote where, like the faintest ink is better than any memory. Right. So, like, even if it's really hard to read, but you can read it, you can trust that more than you can your own memory of what you remember, right? Yeah. So if I'm correct, which I really have no way of telling you if I am or if I'm not, I think it was just more of that. Like, I've had conversations about that topic before with people, and I feel like the fear is they're still too young to be introduced to that kind of choice. Yeah. Right? To be put in front of having that choice. Right? Like they can have autonomy in a lot of things, right? But what I've gotten from people, right? And I'm not saying I agree or disagree, right? Yeah. But in that conversation, what I've gotten from some people is that they feel like the brain is still developing at that age, right? And exposing them to things like that can be more confusion than autonomy, right? And so giving a kid the power to make that choice, am I gay? Am I not gay? Am I right? Like that's kind of something that maybe you introduce a little bit later, right? I have gotten from people that I've had that conversation with, I've also gotten from the same people that have the same views on that, where it's like, look, if my kid comes up to me out of nowhere, right? not because he was exposed to it at school, not because he's seen a Disney movie where there was a homosexual couple there. But if like my kid just came to me and said, hey, Dad, like I have these feelings, right? Like or whatever, then I support him. Like that, I just support my kid because on his own, naturally, without the input of anybody else, kind of started feeling these natural things. Then I support him 100%, and I'm gonna back him up, and I'm gonna be there for him or her, right?
Yeah.
But when they're exposed to it like that, it's kind of like, is it coming from a natural place, or is it coming from like seeing that it's a trend or seeing that the Disney movie done it? So maybe that's me. Maybe it, right? Like, I don't know. But anyway, you asked me.
No. I'm answering you, and right? I'm just reacting as you're saying it. I think I agree that we should limit the influences that go on in our schools, but I find it often surprising that the same people that wouldn't want a program that promotes inclusiveness, that helps people feel safer and helps people feel good, would have no problem with religion being a class, right? With Catholicism being in their school, right? And so the difference is it's something they agree with versus something they can't relate to.
Of course.
And so there's some hypocrisy in that. But I'm of the belief that just like I don't think there should be any influence like to make somebody feel a certain way, there shouldn't be any religious influence. I don't even like Army recruits going to high schools because I think they're too young to get recruited by the military.
Absolutely.
And I think those conversations, but I also think like where I disagree is that my kid, the assumption is that my kid can be converted to gay, right? That my kid can be converted in sexuality is the assumption. And I don't have the data to disprove that.
Of course.
But I'm of the belief that the biggest influence in that is going to be themselves. Like they're going to, I feel like that's something that they either have or they don't, right? But me seeing an LGBT movie, me seeing a Disney couple isn't going to make me want to go date somebody of the same sex. So again, I'm not the expert here.
And I mean, as an adult, like I can definitely see that we already have very strong formulated opinions about who we are, who we're not, right? And I can kind of see where like as a kid, you may not, right? So although I guess you could say I kind of lean towards the side of like, no, I really don't think we should expose children to that stuff too early, right? Yeah. If I can't expose you to a cigarette till you're 21, right? If I can't expose you to alcohol till you're 21, then there's certain things I probably don't feel like I should be able to expose you to either, right? As a child, right? Like as a child. But at the same time, you make a fucking incredible point that school in that case should just be intellectual, right? They're like maybe philosophy, cool, but not religion, right? Like there shouldn't be like religion and certain things like that because that's ideology too. Like that's.
And I think you should understand what the purpose is. Because, you know, for example, I don't have a problem with Bible Club.
Yeah.
Because Bible Club isn't making anybody feel bad about not following the Bible, but it creates a space where people who want to follow it can be a part of it, right?
But then again, in schools, right? Like I think you make a really good point, though. Maybe in schools, it's not such a great idea, right? Because you just never know the beliefs of the people that live in their home, right? But the point that I wanted to make here real quick is that ultimately, and I know a lot of people don't want to hear this, right? Because this is what I believe, my own, perspective on this is that ultimately I feel like this just comes down to parenting, right? Like this stuff is going to happen. Religious is probably going to make its way into school. LGBTQ, it's probably going to make its way into school, right? But if as an adult, if as a parent, you know that these are things that children are being exposed to at school, I really truly believe that ultimately, regardless of what happens, it's up to us to pull our kids to the side and just have these conversations, not just once, not just twice, right? But have these conversations on a consistent basis, right? How do you feel about this, right? These things are going on in your school. What are your thoughts, right? How can I support you, right? Are you with it? Are you not? And ultimately, I don't think it matters what they're exposed to at school if the parent is actually doing parenting and having consistent conversations with their kids to see where their kids are at. And to be that influence you actually want on your kid. Right? You be that influence. Don't allow the school to be that influence, right? Assert yourself with your kids in a way. Put in the fucking work. that it takes to create a relationship of communication and trust with your kids, so that none of that matters.
So what I was going to say is the reason the club doesn't bother me, because when you first shared it, I didn't know what the program was. I still don't know what the program is, the LGBT or whatever the program is. But if it's a program, a club that allows kids to go there and feel safe and make friends when they might not be able to relate to other kids, that's not a problem.
Yeah.
But a school shouldn't teach a class that says you have to accept these people, right? Because that's not really their role. And so although I agree and I support all genders, all whatever you want to be, I'm all for it. I don't think it's a school's place to tell you. Much like it used to bother me when my girls were in school and the teachers would take these political stances and tell them how they should feel about politics and about that's not their role. Their role is to educate. And so it depends on what context it is, but if it's creating a space for people to feel safe, I'm all for it. But if it's giving guidance on how they should feel, that's not really the school's job.
Yeah. And I can't really sit here and tell you I remember exactly, right? But I think if anybody does want to look this up, his name is Gabriel Quiñones, On the Mic with Joe C, episode 8, I believe. One of the most phenomenal human beings I've ever met in my life, right? Like, Gabriel has one of the biggest hearts, right? Like, the work he did in La Puente as a mayor, right, was that, at least from what I've gotten from him, what I've gotten from other people that know him, people that were not the board, what is that called? The council members at that time, right?
City council.
Like city council, right? Like, Gabriel did a phenomenal job, right? Gabriel's heart is in La Puente, right? Like, he grew up in La Puente, went to school in La Puente, still lives in La Puente. Like, he bleeds La Puente, right? And so regardless of what he does, I know that no matter what, it's always in the best intention of the city, right? So if you guys want to check it out, episode 8, On the Mic with Joe C, Gabriel Quiñones, one of the most phenomenal human beings I've ever met. So definitely check that out.
And I'm glad that person shared it with you, because I think that the comfort that they felt to share with you is really important. And that was one of my motivations for coming on here with you. I think that over time, we found that you and me don't agree on a lot of stuff, but we maintain a really good friendship. And we're in an environment today, and what I'm really passionate about is that we're in an environment today where so many people are getting canceled. People don't want to express how they feel. And so the only people talking are the extreme left, the extreme right, or the extreme this and the extreme this. And there's so many more of us that are in the middle that can have an honest conversation and say, hey, I agree to disagree, or you know what, now that we've talked about it, I feel like we're on the same page. We both see it the same way. Even though at the initial conversation we didn't see it that way, now we've had an opportunity to discuss. And I feel like that doesn't take place anymore, because it's so much easier on social media for me to be like, oh, you're a racist because you feel this way. Oh, you're a bigot because you feel this way. That creates division. And my purpose in me, when I'm out in the community, when I'm out in different places and I'm hearing people's opinions and hearing people's perspectives, if you look at my Instagram, I follow conservatives, I follow liberals. It's just getting dialogue going and helping us all realize that we have so much more in common than we have different.
Absolutely, man. And I love the way that you articulated that. Like, we have, we have people on the left, we have people on the right, but like, there's so many of us that are actually in the middle, right? And it's just interesting to me that the left and the right are just much louder.
Yep.
Right? They're just, that's it. They're just louder, but they're not the majority. I really absolutely 100% believe that the majority is in the middle.
Yep.
Right? But the middle is so complacent. The middle is so like, I'm not going to talk to that guy over there because that's going to go wrong. But I'm also not going to talk to that guy over there because that's going to go wrong. I'm just going to stay in my lane.
And I'm going to let those sides make the decisions, though. I'm going to let those sides vote. I'm going to let those sides dominate social media.
And that's not right either.
Yeah.
Right? That's not right either. I feel like this... Right. And I'm glad that it's just coming out naturally. Right. Yeah. Because this really is the intention of you and I partnering with each other to have these kinds of conversations, not just about politics. Right. Because you and I talk about so many things that's not just politics.
Yeah.
But I'd say 40% of the time we tend to lean towards something that's a little controversial within politics.
Politics isn't really a thing, though. It's all human issues. Right. So, you can say immigration is politics, but it's just like humanity, right? Like, how do we feel about this thing? Politics is just our human issues that we vote for.
Yeah.
And so I think it minimizes it when we say it's politics, but we can talk about culture. We can talk about anything on here.
Anything.
But understand that it's a safe environment and get perspective and invite people to listen to it. All 4 of you that are listening to it, right? If you want to message us and give us your opinion or walk up to us and tell us how you feel about something, I really would hope you do. If you want to come on and talk about it, like you're an expert in something that we talk about, and me and Joe are having this whole conversation and you realize we know nothing about what we're talking about, probably true. Come join us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Provide perspective.
And for anybody, like Carlos just said, right? Like the 4 people that are listening out there, right? Like Carlos and I enjoy these conversations with each other because we enjoy that there's pushback.
Yeah.
Right? Like we enjoy that we don't fully agree with each other all the time, but we can create dialogue, right? So if you are one of those people, right, like we want to hear from you in the comments, right? Whether it's the comments on YouTube, whether it's the comments on Instagram or TikTok, if we post a clip from this episode, like we want to hear from you. If you feel like we have a conversation one day where you have a lot more knowledge than what we're displaying, right? Or you feel like maybe like, oh man, they don't have their facts straight, because we won't. I mean, a lot of the times we may not have our facts straight with some of our conversations, right? But if you ever feel like, please reach out, please let us know. And if you're down to come on the show, like come on the show. Like this is why Carlos and I are partnering with each other, because we want to create dialogue. We want to create a voice for the middle.
Yep.
Right? Not just in politics, but I feel like there's a middle in so many different conversations. There's a middle in AI. Right? AI I'm sure has a middle, but there's also an extreme pro AI and there's an extreme anti AI.
Terminator,
right? Like,
worst case scenario.
Terminator, worst case scenario. And then there's the ones that like don't want to do anything because AI can do it for them, right? And so, I really do believe that this is an opportunity we're creating to kind of give the middle a bigger voice, right? Yeah. In a way where we can give that voice and create dialogue without going too far to one side or too far to the other.
Absolutely.
Without pandering to each other either. But at the same time, without like
getting upset
and having a full-on debate about it.
Well, I remember prior to doing this, right? How many times have we had a conversation at the shop? I'm either sitting at the chair and you and me are talking about something, right? And then somebody will start chiming in, and then other people, and I think that's the win. People start giving their perspective and start sharing.
Mm-hmm.
And then we all realize, like, oh, you know what? I didn't see it that way. Oh, yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah.
So that would be the goal. And my biggest fear was actually somebody disagreeing with me. When we did the last clip that I think I shared, I was talking about elections and I was talking about how people got elected. And somebody went on your social media and basically called me a bigot.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, this guy clearly didn't listen to the rest of the episode. But I remember the panic that hit me, right? I was like, oh my God, I'm going to go viral. Oh my God, I'm getting canceled. My career's over.
I remember that.
And I reached out to them and I said, hey, can I just clarify? Like, can I invite you to listen to the rest of the podcast? Because we are in agreement. We are agreeing to the same thing. Just the clip makes it seem like we're not, right? Mm-hmm. The clip was comedy and sarcasm, but you can't see it if you just look at those 3 seconds. You're not going to. If you listen to the rest of the clip, you'll see what I'm trying to explain. But it was so funny to have somebody get mad at me that actually agrees with me.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you get a response, by the way?
No. I commented on them, and then I sent him a private message and said, hey, I'm the guy in the video. I can see where you're upset, and I just wanted to give you some background on what I believe. And I invite you to kind of have a discussion, or feel free to call me, and they didn't.
Wow.
Yeah. But I felt bad that they were upset.
Absolutely.
Especially if it wasn't my intent. But you know what? That happened, and it was like the worst case scenario. And here we are. It's all good.
Yeah.
And these are the things that make people shy away, though, from talking.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was really important for me to get back on here and talk again. And maybe someone's going to hear me say something and be like, oh, I don't like that. Or maybe somebody I work with might hear me say something. But this is why it's so beautiful that we have a space where we can share and we can talk and we can disagree and we can say, like I have friends that are ultra mega. I got friends that are super liberal. I got friends that are gay. I got friends that are like super Christian, straight, and don't believe in that. But we can all be friends and we can all have dialogue and we can all disagree and we can all just, at the very least, be respectful to each other.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think that's important, man. Like, because what you just shared right now, I think this happens too much.
Yep.
I think this happens too much where people have a really strong, and this is, I think, one of the huge downfalls of social media. By the way, I'm a supporter of social media.
Yeah.
I think social media is a tool that you can use for communication, a tool that you can use for your business, a tool that you can use
to share with people what I'm eating today, just everything.
Whatever, right? Your workout, how many steps you did, right? Like, I think social media is great. And I also think one of the downfalls of social media is that it gives people this microphone that is one-ended.
Yep.
Right? That like they can fucking go on there and they can say whatever, right? And then when it comes down to having dialogue, they can hide.
Yeah.
Right? They don't respond. They don't get into dialogue. They don't do anything. It's like, that's one of those things that I don't necessarily.
Yeah, and it wasn't aggressive. Like I didn't want to argue. I just wanted you to hear my side, right? And like I said, if anybody would listen to our clip and wants to come talk to us about it, I'm all for it.
Yes.
All for it.
Absolutely. And by the way, if anybody is listening to this, I know this is episode 1. We may get 2 listens. We may not get any, right? But if
we have 2 because you're going to listen to it and I'm going to listen to it.
Yeah, so for sure.
2.
For sure, we're going to listen to it, right? But if anybody listening to this has any videography experience or any experience with like cameras and streaming and stuff like that, one of the things that Carlos and I were talking about was that we actually want to not start, right? This is episode 1, but eventually, right? Episode whatever, I don't know. But eventually we would like to live stream. Right, we would like to record one of these episodes where we live stream. Obviously, we'd have to have a little bit more of a following to do that, right? So that it's like you said, it's not just you and I talking here on the live stream.
Just you, me, and my mom watching.
Which honestly, I don't give a fuck. I'd do it. I'd do it anyway, right? Like at the end of the day, I'd do it even if it was just you and I talking. Eventually, somebody will jump on and jump in. But I don't know how to do that. So if you or anybody listening knows how to live stream, I have Sony ZV-E10 Mark II cameras, which, from what I researched, they should be able to live stream if we wanted to.
That might be a good internship opportunity for somebody that's trying to get into the field.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think that would be great. You can use our brand. You can use our platform, whatever little tiny platform we have.
Yeah.
Right? Like you can definitely use that if that's something you want to get into. But I don't know how to live stream using these cameras. I know how to live stream on a phone, but not with these cameras. So if anybody listening to this knows how to live stream with these Sony cameras, please hit me up. Even if you don't do it for us, even if you just tell me how to do it or send me a YouTube video tutorial how to do it, I'd greatly appreciate it. So yeah. Anybody listening, please let me know.
So here's our show, right? That was kind of our introduction, and I just I'll end this segment here by just saying how much I appreciate you and the dialogue we've had, and how much I've benefited from the conversation, and how much I've grown personally. Mm-hmm. Because to your point from earlier, I wouldn't be on the show had it not been conversations with you. I wouldn't do as many speaking engagements as I've been doing lately had it not been for the conversation with you. And I hope that we just continue to grow. Because if at the very least you and I grow from having these conversations, that's a win for me. Even if nobody watches.
Absolutely.
Just you and me continue to grow and challenge each other and push each other. Like we were just talking about a Spartan run right before we got in here, right? Anything that makes us better people, I'm all for.
So am I, man. And one, thank you for acknowledging that, right? One of the things that I want to acknowledge with you that I feel has been huge for me because of our conversations is the perspective on being able to listen to others, right? To be able to be aware of that it is possible to just listen and have a subjective opinion, right? Yeah. But that it doesn't necessarily have to be a debate, right? That I could just really come to this conversation, listen to this person's point of view without judging, without feeling like I have to prove a point or like I have to prove them right or prove them wrong. But I think you've really helped me with my listening of others and in understanding that it's absolutely possible to just have dialogue regardless of anybody's views, right? And in the industry that I'm in, right, with being people psychologists while I'm cutting their hair, right, I feel like that's been very, very important, even though I've never been the type of person to debate with my clients or anything like that. But I believe in energy, and I believe that before I really started getting this from you, right? Like even if I wouldn't debate with the clients, they could probably feel that energy of mine that I was judging or didn't agree with what they were saying or whatever, right? Now I feel like my listening is different, right? And like I could just listen to people and not have a judgment about it and really just understand that's their subjective opinion, and that's okay.
There's like like different types of listening, right? There's listening to respond, which is what a lot of us do. Mm-hmm. And that's probably the number one reason people have arguments in their personal relationships, professional relationships, right? Because you're listening and you're like, I already know what I'm going to hit you with. The moment you stop talking,
I'm just waiting for you to shut the fuck up.
That's it.
I'm just waiting for you to shut the fuck up because I'm not listening anymore. I'm just waiting for you to shut up and I'm going to just say it.
Yeah. But the most helpful listening is listening to understand. Mm-hmm. Like I want to listen to really understand. And so when you were sharing earlier about that person having an issue with that program, I really just wanted to understand their perspective. And I might not have a response. Like if I met that person and we talked, I might say, oh, all right, cool. And that's it. Like I don't have to change your mind.
Yeah.
That's not my job.
Yeah.
But at least I get where you're coming from. And sometimes when you get where people are coming from, it makes it so much easier to maintain your friendship.
Yeah.
Like I get it. These core values are really important to you. You know, I had somebody make the case before that their religion was super important to them and how they interpreted what they were reading in the Bible was super important to them. And I had to fight a little bit of me wanted to be like, well, have you seen Leviticus? Because in Leviticus, they say yada, 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 but they also say don't eat shrimp, right? So do you follow that? And that was not going to go anywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
No.
But I got their perspective. I got that they were trying to be the best version of themselves that was aligned with God in their interpretation of what they read in that Bible. And I just accepted it. I understood it, and we moved forward. And we're still cool. But it took, like, I had to bite my lip because I wanted to be like, yo, let's open it up real quick.
Let's dive into this a little bit more, right? Yeah. Let's dive into the hypocrisy of this shit.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
But there's a no-win situation.
There's a no-win situation.
No win.
No-win situation.
The only thing that would have happened is, hubiéramos salido mal is a Spanish saying. We would have came out angry.
Yeah.
And now I have like one less friend.
No value in it. No value in it. Yeah. Oh, yeah, man. Well, hey. Thank you so much, Carlos, right? Like this is obviously not the last time this is going to be a thing, right? I'm really looking forward to all the conversations you and I are going to have. I'm looking forward to having a co-host, right? Like it was just kind of me for a year and some change, right? And so I really truly feel like bringing someone like you that I look up to, right? Like I value your friendship, I value your conversation, that this is going to be something special, right? And like I know you've heard me say this before, right? And I'll say it again. You and I, we won before we even hit record.
Absolutely.
Right? Like we're already winning. So anything that happens after record, that's just a plus, man.
Yeah.
I hope we kind of gave everybody a little bit of an idea of what, these episodes are going to be like. If anybody does listen to this, again, we invite topics, we invite conversations. Carlos and I, when it comes to these shows, we want to talk about current events. We want to talk about personal anecdotes, right? Like we want to bring our own personal life into the space and kind of have a conversation about how our perspectives on the situation. We want to talk about culture. We want to talk about trends. We also want to maybe come in and bring a video, right? Like whether it's a video on personal growth, whether it's a video on politics, whether it's a TED Talk clip, right? Whether it's on anything, right? But we want to bring like video clips onto the show and kind of just have a conversation about our perspectives on the clip. So anybody have any ideas, any topics, any clips that you feel would be good for us to have a conversation about, we invite you to send us that, whether through DM, email, joeceethebarber, JOECEE, thebarber at yahoo.com is my email. What is your email?
You know what? I need to make an email for this, right? But we could say Carlos at anteaterhomesolutions.
Perfect. Anteater Home Solutions. We got to talk more about Anteater Home Solutions. Yeah, that's fucking awesome.
It's one of our sponsors now.
Yeah, it's one of our sponsors now, right? That's Carlos's business, guys. So Anteater Home Solutions, look that up. You need cable, internet.
Internet, home security, and light construction.
Okay.
Got you.
Perfect. So, yeah, that's the email, right? Whether you email me, whether you email him, whether you DM me at any of my social medias, whether you comment, whatever, right? Just reach out to us. We really want to invite other people into a space. We get that being on camera may not be everybody's thing, but you bringing your topic to us and allowing us the opportunity to bring that topic into this space would be phenomenal, and we would appreciate you guys for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
Well, thank you.
Other than that, man, I just kind of want to end it off with what we were just saying, the sponsors, right? As I always say, right? Nobody paid for all of this shit, right? Just a heads up. Like this all came out of my pocket, but I'm very blessed to have a great team at the Original Clip Joint Barbershop that allows me to, do things like this and just my business really allows this space to come to life. So I would like to thank the one and only sponsor that I would say doesn't just sponsor this show, but it sponsors my life.
That's right.
Right, which is the original Clip Joint Barbershop. We got a location in the city of Covina, another location in the city of San Dimas. We are one of the few businesses, especially with AI right now, that still answers the phone, right? So if you call either one of the barbershops, my wife Jasmine will answer you in San Dimas. I will answer you in Covina. You will get a real person to help you with technical support, the website, setting up an appointment, etc. So please feel free to reach out, and hopefully we'll see you at the original Clip Joint Barbershop. And soon, on my shirt that I'm wearing, my boy David and I, one of my best friends that I've had since 4th grade, we are starting our own clothing brand. Well, we already started it, right? We got shirts. If you want to pick one up, go ahead and DM me. We also have them at the Covina Clip Joint that you can pick one up in person. But our website, mastermind.com, which is MSTRMXND, is the way mastermind is spelled, .com, should be live for online shopping, and we should be able to ship all across the United States. Not out of the United States just yet, but we will be able to ship within the United States. So stay tuned for that. In the next couple of weeks, that website should go live where you can buy our brand online. And other than that, Carlos, is there anything you want to leave us off with?
No, thanks for the opportunity, Joe.
Cool. Awesome, guys. Well, as always, guys, stay blessed, smile every chance you get, and we love y'all. Peace.